All right, guys, welcome to some exclusive hand up content. We're doing this for Sea Otter Play, and it's probably going to live on for a little bit longer after the fact, but you are seeing it firsthand if you came to the hand up booth. And we're here with Biking with Bobo, an incredible YouTube mountain bike rider, um, mountain bike fan. I mean, lots of things, lots of things. More recently, even a news anchor to some extent. But he's been a longtime friend of Hand Up, a good friend in general. We have some questions submitted for him, and then we have our own questions for him. I don't want to dilly dally here. Let's get right on into it.
No dilly dally. Troy, good to see you, my man. And let me just say, the partnership with Hand Up has always been fantastic. You guys were the first company to seek me out, and you saw potential where others just saw a guy on a mountain bike farting and drinking beer. And I appreciate you
Dude,
guys
that's what we
going
loved about you.
right. It's been a great partnership. I just wanted to say, really appreciate everything you guys have done for me. Uh,
Thanks, man. We've had a blast. If it wasn't fun, we probably wouldn't continue it, but it's been
yeah,
unbelievable the entire time.
cool.
And just so everyone knows, Bobo's got a sock out with us right now with little plants that produce a wonderful beverage that we all love.
That's right.
So go grab those. It does help him out a little bit. But
Beer Me
also,
Stocks, now available. Use the promo code BOBO 2017 for 10% off discount. Sorry, I was gonna plug that real quick.
oh, I love it, dude. I
Yeah.
love it. All right, let's get into it. So I'm sure you hear this a million times. We'll get into that. But when are you going to Highland Mountain Bike Park?
Where is that? Is that, like, in England? I'm just kidding. I know it's uh, yeah, actually, funny enough, there's a pandemic going on, so not anytime soon, if you guys didn't know, but
Sure.
I don't know why that would stop me because, it looks amazing, and part of this YouTube experience, that really was a surprise to me, but now has just become obvious. One of the benefits is travel. Like, I moved to Asheville for mountains. I was living in Florida, and I wanted to come here and ride and be closer to my family, other reasons. But since YouTube, I went to Whistler, went to Bentonville, Colorado. I've mountain biked in a lot of places I never thought I would mountain bike, and definitely Mountain Creek. Is that what it's called?
Highland?
Highland. I've already forgot.
We'll get it. We'll get it.
Highland, Mountain Creek. There's a lot of trails on high on the list, and it looks like such a sick spot. One thing that people don't know is that my buddy Nate, No Brakes Nate, the Terminator, Tan Daddy, um, is from upstate New York. And
Okay.
so we do want to get up in that area and hit some of the parks soon. So I'm real eager to get out there. But coming back from injury, took me a little while to get my park bravery back, and recently I started to get the thrill again to do uh, scary stuff. Scary stuff is now fun again.
Gotcha.
So I can't wait to. I think the future. This is probably the best way to answer that question. The future for me is definitely van life of some
Gotcha.
sort, and travel, and that's going to be one of the first places for sure.
Amazing. All right. Well, whoever asked that question, I should know, but I did forget to write that down. Whoever
Oh,
asked that question, he's coming to a Highland mountain bike park near you.
very
But
soon.
just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
because I see this a lot, how often do you get asked for someone to come to your area? You're well loved. I mean, I'm not surprised.
Oh well, thank you. Blush. It's a regular occurrence, and actually yesterday someone hit me up and offered to fly me to Texas to Spider Mountain. They literally sent me a message on Instagram saying, "Yo, dude, me and my bros, we like to crash a lot. We're not very good, but we like beer. You would love us." And I was like,
Perfect.
a good start. Yes, I would love you. And they're like, we will fly you out to Spider Mountain for our birthday party, and pay for your lift ticket, and have free place to stay, and all the beer that you can drink, which is foolish. They are
That's
underestimating. how much that tab would be. But um, yeah, it's a very consistent question. And what was hilarious was, I wrote him back. I was like, well, with the pandemic and all, it's probably not an opportune time for that. And they were
Sure.
like, it's cool, it's cool. I'm 13 anyways, and blah, blah, blah.
They
It's
were
like,
they were gonna buy you all the
oh,
beer.
so what did you do? Like, go to your dad, like, hey, I promised Bobo a place to crash and all
Yeah,
the beer. And the dad's probably like, sweet.
sweet.
So,
No, you go down there, use your McLovin ID, you get all the beer.
yeah, you get it. The McLovin ID.
Um,
It is a consistent thing, but what's really cool is I'm very interested in going to those places. It's good to know about them, and a lot of the invites I do consider. So keep them coming because one day I will say yes.
I love it, man. Yeah, I mean, traveling the country, that's the dream, getting to ride. That's incredible.
It is. I mean, it was surreal when I got to go to when I got picked up at the airport by Paul the Punter, and I was like, "Oh man, this is really happening. I'm gonna mountain bike Whistler. That is
That
cray.
is amazing.
Are
Yeah,
the kids still saying cray?
I don't know. I
Lit. It was lit. I was like, man, this is currently lit. I am lit right now. I'm gonna stop while I'm
all right.
ahead.
I think you've used all the perfect buzzwords. We're hitting that like 13 to 15-year-old demo perfectly.
Yeah, right. That's the idea. Anyways, trying to be hip.
All right, so let's just completely shift gears then. If you're at a table, or maybe you're at one of these like college orientation icebreaker, events, you got to give the fun fact that's going to wow everyone. What's our fun fact about Bobo?
Ooh, wow.
Maybe it's your claim to fame. Maybe, I mean, I don't
That's a
know what.
it's an interesting question.
I met Maggie Gyllenhaal in a pool one time in New Orleans.
That's pretty good.
It was
Oh,
actually super cool.
I love Maggie Gyllenhaal. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me? The
she was a
secretary,
sweetheart.
Donnie Darko. Yeah, I can name that filmography. I'm a film fanatic myself. I went to film school, worked in the film and television industry. So I think that would be where I would go to. Just going to piggyback off of your
Okay.
fun fact. So, what would be a fun fact that would wow people? Well, I worked on a film once with George Clooney,
Really?
and I didn't think I was ever going to see him, but I was working in the editorial department. Go figure. There was only four of us in there in total. The actual guy, the chief editor, Stephen Marioni, edited Ocean's 11, 12, 13. He did Swingers. He
Wow.
edited so many amazing films. So I was kind of starstruck by him, but I didn't think I'd see Clooney. But in the 3 months I worked there, I saw Clooney nearly every day. In fact, I went bowling with George Clooney.
Holy
Uh,
crap,
I
man.
got I went to set one day. This was a film called Leatherheads. It was 2007. It was about how the NFL kind of started. It was an old football movie
Right.
with John Krasinski, Jim from The Office.
Yep.
So they were filming a war scene, and I was just there. I was a production assistant, really. I was very low man on the totem pole. But George Clooney calls me over to the monitor with John Krasinski, and he's like waving at me, and I'm like in the field. I'm like, there's nobody behind me. I think George Clooney is waving at me, and then he said my name. For those of you people who don't know, my real name is Lambert. Oh man, we're
He
really
didn't
getting
say,
deep.
"Hey, Bobo, get
No,
over
he didn't
here."
know. Bobo didn't exist yet. He goes, Lambert. And I was like, oh, George Clooney knows my name. And I got to go over there, and he huddled up with me, and there's John Krasinski and George Clooney. And we're watching the last shot, and it was surreal. But when I went in for my interview, this was fun. I didn't think I'd ever see George. Uh, and as I'm running in, because I was just excited, I nearly ran him over. He was the first person I ran into, and we got face to face. And he looked at me, I looked at him, and I was like, damn, you're handsome. That's all I could say. All I could
Which
say.
is pretty true. I
It
mean,
is
that's
true.
very fair.
And
Fair reaction.
it was really cool being surrounded by those people. And I learned a valuable lesson about humility and about I worked with so many other celebrities. I worked on a lot of reality shows, and sometimes the talent was very cruel to us or not exactly kind to the camera department,
Sure.
but or whoever was working. Sometimes it's not all. Sometimes But I found out that like working with the bigger stars, the bigger you were, the nicer you were. It
Sure.
was my experience. So George Clooney an amazing guy, and I
John
learned
Krasinski was cool too, right?
he was cool. Yes, he was.
Okay.
He called me short. He did call me short.
Oh.
I rounded the corner on set one day and ran into his belly button. He was wearing a shirt. This is really taking a weird turn, but he looked down at me and he goes, "Oh, hey, shorty." You're gonna edit this part out. I was like, "You, Jim," and then I walked
No.
across.
No, actually, this is gonna be the promo that I
Oh,
make.
how I can hear him as I'm running up the stairs. He goes, "Did that guy just say fuck you, Jim?"
Oh my God. All right.
So
Well, that
it was
was
cool.
amazing. That is, yeah, I
Thanks.
think you would win, a free drink at the table. Yours would be the top story. All right. We're shifting back to mountain biking.
Okay.
For someone who has already tried liquid courage, how else do you progress your own skills on the mountain bike
Besides beer,
besides beer?
so yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it can be frustrating. How do you progress
Mhm.
besides hold my beer? Like, here, hold my beer. If I
Because you,
survive this, I'm going to be better. Like,
right.
that's been my approach to mountain biking. But after surgery and 6 months off the bike, that can't happen again. Like,
Sure.
I owe it to myself and to the people who subscribe to me because they want to see my journey too. And why wouldn't I want to give them what they want? And they want to see me get really good at mountain biking. To do
Oh, yeah.
that, there's a lot of things you got to do, and I don't like them. I'm not a fan of try hard. You have to really put in a lot of effort. You have to practice. You have to be in shape because if you're not in shape, you're not going to have the energy to practice. So I'm kind of right now focusing on my fitness, taking
Gotcha.
care of my body. I'm doing a lot of yoga. But when it comes to progression, I have to practice every day, and I have to proactively seek content that is going to get me on the right track because I one of the funny parts of mountain biking is that it's interpretive. And I
Okay.
think everyone comes from a different background, everyone has a different way of explaining things, and every person like me has different issues that they're dealing with. So I try to watch as many every day. I find like okay, a jumping video or a cornering video or some sort of skills video, bunny hops, and I watch that. But what really uh, was a grand epiphany for me recently was my lesson. Go figure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? Wow, wow. What I see that's why I had to do all this, like build up to that to answer because it's a stupid answer. It's an
Yeah,
obvious answer, but it's the right answer.
yeah.
These guitars back here, woo, I can fly on, man. Like people are just like, geez, how does your little rat paws fly up and down the neck like that? Because I started playing by taking lessons.
Yeah, I mean,
If I had
yeah,
not taken those lessons, I would not be able to, just pick up a guitar and do what I want these days. And my first lesson was illuminating. It was like, wow, I really have been, flying through the air helplessly, dead sailing and hoping to survive. That that feeling is verified after one
yeah,
lesson. So
right.
lessons are super important, but you also have to be fit. You also have to try really, really hard. And if you can overcome the frustration of all of that, then progression is like sky high. The limit is literally the sky. I'm thinking there's a jump pun in here somewhere, but it would be really cheesy. So yeah, I would say that for those people out there who want to get better, your suspicions are correct. Get
Yeah,
yourself a lesson, and that will get you on the path because it takes time. It also takes time. I'm so impatient. I want to be good at something right now. I always have been.
yeah.
Such a prick thing to say, but I've always been very talented when it comes to anything athletic.
Right.
So to see all my other friends just do this crazy shit effortlessly is can be depressing, but it can also
Right.
be inspiring. So I'm just trying to say, look at it like this: like if you put yourself on a long enough timeline, you believe, Trust the process. Don't give up. You can accomplish anything.
I
There you
love it,
go.
man.
How you like
No,
that?
dude, seriously, that's amazing. I didn't expect in a million years you'd say to get a lesson, especially because it seems like everyone is learning mountain biking on YouTube right now, you know?
I Here's the
But
thing. If you're mountain biking, I think you are learning mountain biking.
yeah, but also
Yeah.
maybe there's something about having someone there and giving you that lesson, even just having just the physical, encouragement. I've done
Yeah.
things on mountain bikes I never thought I would do, but it was never because of a video. It was because my buddy was standing next to me saying, just lean back a little bit, do what I did, follow this line. And all of a sudden, a couple rides in, I'm riding stuff I never have before. And he's not, pro, he's not an instructor. I'm sure there's better advice givers out there, but man, it helped. And
Man,
I never would have done it if I just watched a video.
what one man can do, so can another. And
Right.
seeing is believing. I went to ride the other day with no cameras, and I
Good
wasn't
for you.
filming.
Good.
Yeah, right. Get a soul ride in every now and again. But I went to the jump line and I did horrible. Mostly because I was on my own. I had no one in front of me, and that's what I'm used to these days. And
Right.
then this past weekend, I had the normal shredders in front of me, and I was ripping. It's so inspiring to see somebody in front of you, and you're like, yes, I
Oh,
want to do that.
absolutely. Man, that's where I need to go to do it. I
Uh-huh.
love it. So, um, this is going to dig a little bit deeper, and I actually don't know this about you.
Oh.
I think there's a bigger question here, but what are your thoughts when it comes to suspension? Do you have like brands you prefer? But I'm thinking, I don't even know if Bobo is like a real gear guy, to be honest with you. You're not, are you?
I hate it. I hate gear talk. I hate it. I have never been. I'm just genetically wired to hate this conversation because I have never been the guy who was like, I want to take that apart and see what's inside. No. Does it work? Does it have a controller? Sweet.
Right.
Boom, sign me up. Like I don't want to know. And that is also a problem. I'm going to say Cane Creek because my buddies work at Cane Creek
Perfect.
and I'm running Cane Creek and I love the suspension and I owe it to myself, just like I'm going through a renaissance here, a
Love
little
it.
bit of a
Like
revelation
in general or in this interview right now?
right at this moment. You
I'm
see the
kidding.
light bulb going off? No, I mean, it's kind of shameful to be like, Nate, is this suspension right? And he's like, I don't know. And he's right. It's my bike. I should know. And if I really want to, that's another thing. I need to continue my education. I'm
Sure.
finding every day something new that I'm learning about production, sound design, lighting, how to do better, shoot better B-roll, how to produce a video better, thumbnails, making them. You can always get better at this stuff.
Right.
I'm starting to see the benefits of learning this stuff. And I'm like, oh, I should probably learn some mountain bike stuff. you know?
Yeah, man.
So that's next. Like getting lessons is going to help me as a better rider, but I need to know what my suspension feels like. I hate it when someone asks me out on the trail, "How's your suspension feel?" Like, I don't know.
It's
I have
not
no
bottoming
idea.
out.
It could be terrible. It could be the worst thing ever, and I wouldn't know. Uh, but no, I don't know anything about that stuff. I don't.
I don't want to be the guy that tells you what to do, but I'm about to. I would love to see that recorded, that journey recorded. You
Oh,
learning
I've had this
all the
requested
technical
on the
stuff.
channel before, Bobo versus like mechanicals, like where can you imagine it would be an all-time YouTube record for curse words, me having to like rebuild my bike on my own.
Oh, dude, we went out. I worked at a bike shop in college, and we went out. Me and my wife went out with the old shop owner for dinner, and I made a joke about how I was a bad mechanic, and he stopped the conversation and said, "Oh no, 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 you were the worst mechanic we ever had."
You're not the
And I
bad.
said,
There's a trophy for you.
"Okay, yeah, yeah." I have the longest bike build at that shop by 4 or 5 hours like it took me the entire day.
You're legendarily bad.
Yeah, I'm glad
Wow.
we're both not technically savvy. Maybe we're just more creative that way. You
No.
definitely are.
Well, I mean, in a way, we kind of did ourselves a favor because now no one wants us to work on their bike.
Right, right. That's
Huh?
true, that's
Huh?
true. You give it
Huh?
to me, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. I
Alright.
mean, if I just, it's almost like being a truck owner. Like I shouldn't have owned a truck because now I'm on the hook for anyone who needs help with that. Like so, if I
Oh,
learn
yeah,
mechanic stuff, then that's one more thing I'm on the hook for.
yeah.
You
Alright, what's the dumbest way you've been injured?
know.
You
Ooh.
know, this doesn't even have to be on a bike. If this is
you know,
like
it.
jumping off a high dive into a full belly flop, I wanna hear that story too.
Well, so I will share two stories.
Awesome.
The dumbest way I was injured, if my friends watched this interview and I didn't say this story, then they would probably do physical harm to me because they know this is definitely the number one. But I'll tell you another story since you brought up the high dive.
Okay.
Before in the year 2000, I had rotator cuff surgery. I had this giant Bruce Willis scar right here.
Oh, yeah.
I had a lot of dislocations. I had to have surgery. 3 days before my surgery, I was doing 2.5 front flips off of a high dive on a lake in North Carolina somewhere at the Table Rock. Maybe it was South Carolina. And on the last one, obviously it was the last one, I over rotated and dislocated my shoulder on impact. And it was awful having to swim out of the lake with one arm and one arm dislocated, just floating. And then my buddy on this floating dock pulls me out, and he had put my shoulder back in before, so he's yanking up on my arm trying to get my shoulder back in place. Curse words are flying. 8-year-olds are screaming, trying to jumping off the dock left, right, and center, getting away. I'm like, ah! Now to make this even worse, my buddy is 6'8". So he's yanking
Oh,
my arm
wow.
above his head and just throwing me around like a rag doll. So that was one of the dumber times. That's not really a dumb. That's actually kind of cool. The dumbest time I ever hurt myself. The dumbest time I ever hurt myself by far was a drunken day. We'd been out mountain biking all day, had a couple trail beers, and then we went to a mountain bike event where the beer really started to flow. We were at a brewery, Oscar Blues.
Wait, is this
Then,
recent?
no, this was probably a little more than a year ago.
Oh, okay.
And then we went to a Mexican restaurant and I had some margaritas. So I was three sheets to the wind. And in that moment, I overheard Steady Spin talk to my buddy about how he thinks he could beat me in a foot race. Now, me and Steady had been arguing about this for months at this point. We just had never settled it in a race.
Right.
So I was like, all right, that's it. Stand up. I'm going to smoke your ass and you're going to feel so bad. So, man, I ran the 800 in track. I was a soccer player.
Right.
One of the fastest guys on my soccer team. I am lightning. All right.
Gotcha.
A few weeks before that, Tan Daddy's gonna hate me, but I smoked Tan Daddy in a foot race.
Love
Who
it.
so I was like, Kevin's big ass is gonna be easy. But I wanted to make him look real bad.
Right.
So we get to start, and there is video of this. I've actually been too embarrassed to put this online. That's how embarrassingly bad this is. Someone finally yells, "All right, Mark, get set, go!" And I'm just churning so hard, 3 steps in gravity because we were going kind of down.
Oh.
I did a front flip and landed completely on this shoulder,
The bad one.
the bad one, dislocating my shoulder and then tumbling down the hill after taking 3 steps.
Such an athlete.
Kevin just laughing, just flying past me. My buddy Landy had to put my arm back in place. And it was embarrassing and so stupid. So let me tell you something. Do not get into a foot race on a head full of margarita.
Love it. Love it.
Lessons. That should be a
That's a
hallmark
life
part.
lesson.
Yeah.
That's another we'll just throw that in the promo. That's just
I,
a nugget that we'll all take away. Oh my
yeah,
god. All
live
right,
and you learn.
well, this might be something that was stupid, or it could just be something that was really fun, but I just watched your recent video in Pisgah, and you did a big night ride.
Yeah.
Which one was it? Was it fun or was it stupid?
Both. I mean, things, you know, you don't make me choose. Things can be both.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, it was, this company hit me up and, with the pandemic going on right now, I'm more open right now to potential sponsored videos than ever. And
Gotcha.
normally I would have said, "Hey, no thanks. These bike lights are just not, they're good for like around the neighborhood, gravel grinding, a black diamond at night in soaking wet conditions, trying to keep up
Yeah,
with Nate.
right.
Not a great idea." And then it occurred to me, wait, that is a great idea.
I liked it.
Who cares if we're going to see anything? Like, if people are going to tune in for the audio alone, and honestly, the giggling and the laughter was all natural, as per usual. We never put on a show really. It's all just us out there, but dangerous as hell. But so much fun. My favorite part of that video is when Nate discovers the rock garden
Yeah.
because we can't see
Yeah.
anything, and then I'm right behind him. I'm like, it's fine. Oh, the rock garden. And we cleaned it in the dark.
Yeah,
So
I was gonna say, man, like, you did ride it,
I made
and
it.
of all yeah, that's one of few trails I've been on that just scared the life out of me. I did it very early on. It was
Yeah.
actually the very first mountain bike ride I went on outside of Tennessee, and it was probably my 3rd ever, was
Oh
Black
man.
Mountain
Oh,
on a 90 millimeter cross country, like, race bike. Um,
getting rowdy right there.
getting
That
getting scared,
that
getting
sounds
real scared.
fun.
Um, that's amazing, man. Yeah, it
No,
looks super fun. I just wanted to see.
we had a great time. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. All
So
right.
wait. Nate told me that night. I was like, "All right, I'll meet you. I'll meet you out there." And he's like, "Okay, this is going to be fun." I was like, "Dude, bring a headlamp. These lights are not good enough." He's like, "Oh, they'll be fine." You ever have a friend that's just ever the optimist? It's like, "Nate,
Oh, yeah.
bring a headlamp
Oh, yeah.
for the love of God."
Absolutely.
And
Oh,
of
we'll
course,
be good.
as we first stopped, he goes, "I can't see anything." He's like, "Yeah, I know. Told you."
Yes, I definitely have those friends. It's real annoying. I went on a camping trip once in high school, and me and my buddy packed for this was like a 4-day thing. Me and my buddy packed for 4 days of camping, and a buddy of mine showed up with a school backpack, an extra hoodie, and a harmonica. And he was like, I'm just gonna mooch off of y'all. And we were like, cool, man. Well, I hope there's enough because you are screwed.
Right? That's
Yes,
hilarious.
I have the over optimistic friends.
Everyone needs one. There's one in every group.
Oh yeah, it brings a lot of light to life.
Certainly
Um,
does.
of the places you've ridden, what are you just excited to get back to? Let's go
Oh,
number one. What do you like? Got to go back.
guess.
BC Whistler.
Whistler. I mean,
Yeah.
man, it is not just. It's not just about Whistler. It's not just about the endless, amazing trails and the beauty that is that entire area.
Right.
Canada is amazing. I love what they have going on, and the scene there is so rad. Like, I mean, obviously, I like to, I like a good party. I like to go out and have fun. I like live music. I like festivities, and that really took me by surprise. Which I don't know why, but it did. The nightlife, the after ride scene in Whistler was epic. It was so cool, and everyone there you knew was a mountain biker.
Oh, that
So
makes it. That's awesome.
it was fantastic, and like I'm so ignorant to who everyone is. Like Paul, the punter, was my chaperone. I'll say,
Yeah.
keeping me
The
alive.
DD.
Yeah, not really. Actually, after that night, he didn't drink for like 4 months after that
Oh,
night
wow.
because we got so hammered. But some dude would come up and talk to me for a little bit and then walk away, and Paul was like, "That guy won the whole shebang last year." So I'm like, I didn't even know who that was. But no, Whistler was great. But we met some really cool people in Bentonville. And
Nice.
Bentonville, have you been to Bentonville before?
Not yet, but
Man,
I know it's a mistake. I know I need to go.
it is a mistake. You do need to go. And what's really cool about Bentonville is how easily accessible everything is. You're riding around town, stopping at breweries, then going to another section of trails. And on the way, on the sidewalk, there's literally a tabletop line of tabletops. It's a cool place, man. So we mostly want to get back to Bentonville, not just because it's cool, but we met a lot of really awesome people.
Amazing.
It's so weird to think that you can travel and these guys, they feel like they know me. So
Right.
I feel like I know them it just seems so natural. We met so many of our own kind out there, and Bentonville's definitely at the top of my return list. But this will be a surprise for you. Number 3 would have to be Florida. I want
Really?
I want to go back to the motherland where I started mountain biking.
Okay.
I
Okay.
started mountain biking in Florida. That was what I thought mountain biking was, riding through
Right.
swamps, which is really cool stuff out there.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a cool story to go back and see what all the trails that I used to ride, look like now. So
I
I
can
gotta
wrap
go
my
there.
head around that. That's
Yeah.
it's almost nostalgic, I would imagine.
It
Has to
is
be.
it's gonna be so wild because, man, I used to think I was so badass. Yeah, I'd be, like, riding around, be like, "What's up, dudes? You guys gonna ride the Black Diamond? Yeah, well, we're gonna be on the double black." And then I come up to, like, Asheville for the first time, and I'm just like, "Mortal men do not climb these hills." And then we start descending, and I'm like, "Ah!" It's like, I've never felt tears just flow out of my eyes, 0 vision, just expecting to explode on the next turn, you
Right,
know,
right, right.
going so fast. So I can't wait to get back. I want to go back to Florida in the winter and escape the cold and get back to where it all started.
That's amazing. Perfect answer. I did expect to hear Whistler, but I mean, it's an awesome place. Why would, Disney
Wow,
World is famous for a reason. People love it.
it's
Disney
true.
World of Bikes is the same story.
It's true.
All right, man, we're shifting gears again.
Cool.
Um, I think lots of people know you have a music background, but maybe they don't. Either way, what's your favorite band and what's your favorite band to see live?
Oh, okay. I know the answer to this. Yeah, I grew up in a musical family. I grew up in a house in the middle of the woods in Spartanburg, South Carolina. No neighbors, in a music studio with drums, a PA system, everything. We would have 8 hours of band practice in one day because my dad was in the band.
Yeah,
Like, my band would wait for them to get done. They'd get out of the studio, then we'd go in. And when I was in Florida, my band, we were about to move out to LA. Like, we were getting played on the radio. We were headlining the House of Blues. We did a music video. Big things were happening for me in the music world before I came up here. So I'm very passionate about it. Always gone to music festivals. Well, specifically Bonnaroo. Throw that out there.
yeah,
But
Tennessee.
yeah, Manchester. But I'd have to say my favorite band currently is a band called Jungle.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people probably haven't heard of Jungle, but they are just the Lords of Funk, is what they're also
Oh,
known as,
yes.
and they are so incredible. I saw them live at Bonnaroo for the first time, and I was just blown away that there was like 12 to 15 people on stage, and you would think most of their music is like digitally generated, but in actuality, there's like an organic musical instrument on stage for everything and like 8 people singing. And I mean, oh, it is they Jungle. Check them out. I just ordered their CD. Yes, I still have a CD player that I'm rocking in my
Love
truck,
it.
my 2008. I before this interview ordered a CD. Judge me all you want. All right, I was gonna wear a wristwatch.
Oh
More
my
judgment.
God.
But so my favorite band, all my friends around here, if they saw this interview and I didn't say Jungle, they'd be like, "Why'd you lie?"
Yeah.
Because when they come over there, I just sneak it on. They're like, "Bobo, stop playing Jungle." I'm like, you love it. You want to dance. Um, but my favorite band live is Easy. The best show, and I've seen a lot of shows. I mean, a
Sounds
lot.
like it.
I mean, Radiohead, Tool. I've seen the Police, Tom Petty. I've seen a lot of bands. Best show I've ever seen live was Muse. I don't know if you're
Really?
familiar with Muse, but
I'm very familiar with Muse, but I would not expect that to be
oh,
mind-blowing.
beyond epic, beyond epic. Like I was at Bonnaroo and I watched 80,000 people's faces melt. Like everyone around me was like, "Is this really happening?" I was like, "Yeah, it's really happening." Um, not only are they like epic, but they're perfect. Like it's a new trend. Like back in the '90s, it was acceptable to not be perfect. In fact, you kind of wanted to diversify how you played live to give this live experience. Nowadays, we want to hear it sound perfect, damn it. All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Play it
Oh,
like it
yeah.
is on the album. I don't want to hear it any other way. And they are so freaking talented. It is daunting. It makes me not want to play music, actually, how good they are. I'm just like, I'm not going to touch my guitar ever again. So, yeah, the best show I ever saw was the last Bonnaroo, or maybe two Bonnaroos ago, Muse, and it was
Are they
mind blowing.
is there are do they have the front man that's classically trained? Is that their
He
kind
was
of
an
their unique?
yeah, he's like an opera singer, and he's also like a Van Halen shredder on the guitar. Like I don't know if you ever
Oh,
heard
wow.
Knights of Sidonia. They will not force us.
More promo stuff. This is great.
We will be victorious. We will. Yeah, epic. If that didn't just like make your skin,
Oh,
you
I'm
know,
ready.
crawl,
I'm
you
I'm
know.
gonna have Muse on repeat after this.
Oh, dude.
That is incredible. That is incredible. And so he can hit all the notes on stage. He does it all.
Oh, it's ridiculous, and, he'll be, like, going around, and they're executing at a level of perfection that is rarely seen live, and then all of a sudden, it occurs to me, "Wait, I know what's going on here. This isn't real. This isn't real. No way they're doing this," and then all of a sudden, he takes an extra half a measure and just goes on this tangent solo that I know is not in the song. I'm like, "It's real!" It's like, "How?" So, yeah, Muse. They've been in my CD player for about 2, 3 years now.
That's amazing. That is
Yeah.
that was unexpected, but that's amazing.
Oh, man.
What is your favorite non-bike YouTube account?
Ooh, that would have to be a toss-up between Peter McKinnon. You familiar with Peter McKinnon?
Absolutely not.
God, come on, Troy. He's like an OG, actually.
There's
I don't
so much out
There's
there.
so much. This was Paul like scorning me for not knowing. I only recently discovered Peter McKinnon myself, but he like really is a filmmaker, photographer. He does amazing tutorials with helping you with thumbnails or producing a video, cinematography, flying a drone. But let's face it, that's all educational.
Right, right, right.
I don't like educational. Okay, I don't know when or who said YouTube is PBS. No, I don't want to learn. Although Reading Rainbow, really good show. Just throw it out there.
True.
Don't take my word for it. I can't remember the actor's name. He was great. I love that guy. Lavar. Anyways, moving on. Um, but I would say that my favorite non mountain bike YouTuber would have to be David Dobrik. Familiar
David
with him?
Dobrik.
Because
No, it's familiar, but I do not know. What's
because
the
the
idea?
the idea is I'm pretty sure he just runs with a bunch of people who were old Vine stars. Remember
Oh,
Vine,
totally. Loved Vine.
right? So he's always with all these other Vine stars, and he hired this comedian to be his best friend, and now they're actually best friends. And they just film all their shenanigans. They'll do crazy stuff. They'll prank someone. Like that's where I got the birth simulator idea to hook up to Steady Spin.
Yep.
They will shock their buddy, and then the same episode they went out and gave some college kid who was struggling $10,000. But
Oh,
what
that's
they
awesome.
but what right? It makes you feel good. But what they mostly do is party their balls off and fall through tables, Chris Farley style, and like drive their car into the swimming pool. And it's not like Jake Paul annoying, like not
I was
No
gonna
offense.
say this is kind of
No
yeah. I
offense.
was
Yeah, it's like a better Jake Paul,
gotcha.
like a non-annoying Jake Paul. David Dobrik is just a really funny guy. Always has a smile, and if you guys haven't seen his channel, it's some pretty awesome stuff.
I like that. I'm gonna definitely check that out. All right, man. We're gonna wrap it up, and we're also gonna take it back to cycling. This is a short question, though. Ultimately, why cycling?
Well, that's a really good question because I've actually thought about this quite a lot, and it may not be as short an answer as you would like.
That is fine. That is fine.
So I think a lot of people are attracted to cycling from a young age. Me personally, I always loved motorcycles, and I always thought to myself, one day, one day, I'm gonna have my own motorcycle. It's gonna be sick. I'm gonna have the full face helmet and the gear and everything. And it almost happened for me. When I was young, I was in art. I was always involved in art, and I won a art award in middle school, and I won $1,500 as the grand prize.
That's
It was
basically $1 million in middle
yeah.
school.
Oh man, at that age in 1993, 92, something like that was $1 million. And so I started shopping for motorcycles, and my dad's like, "Are you sure you want a motorcycle? Are you sure you don't want to buy a guitar?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure. I want a motorcycle." And I kept looking, and finally, my dad's like, "Check it out. You're not getting a damn motorcycle. Here's a guitar." So I used that money on a guitar, and I just did sports the rest of my life. I was always involved. I played soccer, cross country, track. I wrestled a little bit. I played football, basketball. I did everything sports wise. And when I got out of high school, I continued to be athletic, continued to be active. Mostly just played soccer, indoor soccer. But then you kind of yearn for that team mentality or belonging to a sport or wearing a jersey and a uniform and being involved with a team.
Right.
That was something that had kind of been taken away from me in a way. And one day, I was working in the office in Orlando, in our film office, and my buddy brought in a mountain bike, and it was a hardtail. It was an entry level giant Revel, I think it was called, $500 bike. But man, I had never seen anything like it. It looked
Right.
so badass, right? This $500 bike looked so. I was like, oh yeah, that's me. And that day, I went out and bought the same bike as him, but a different
Dude.
color. And we went out riding. And 2 weeks later, he gave it up, and the rest was history. I
And
think.
now you're killing it. This is like what you do. That's amazing.
Well, what's so funny is that this is a story I probably should have shared with my followers at some point. I never have. Uh, the people that I was riding with at the time, we all had entry level hardtails, and we were all really excited about it. And then one day it occurred to me, I'm ready for a full suspension. You guys should all get full suspensions too. And they're like, no, you're just being a kid. Blah blah blah. That's way too much money. And they're like, we live in Florida. All these reasons. We kind of got at each other a little bit about it. We even had a little mountain bike gang. This is so lame.
I love it.
We called ourselves the Bulletproof Tigers,
Awesome.
which is
Y'all
funny.
had t-shirts, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you know it. You know it. And of course, we all named our bikes. My bike was named Battle Cat. And yeah, eventually I just like took it way too far for them. They thought I was out of my mind. And I kind of started riding without them. They kind of gave up. Most of them gave up on riding, and they always made fun of me a little bit, which they should. We're friends. And they were like, "Oh, there goes Lambert, the pro mountain biker." And now I mountain bike for a living. So, woo,
So
look at that.
that is incredible. What
No,
a
I
journey.
still have a lot of love for all those guys. If it wasn't for that friend group, honestly, I wouldn't have been so intensely into it. And it was just kind of something like I knew I'd been sucked into this portal or this black hole, and there was no looking back. I was like, I'm a mountain biker for life, and I never would have thought I would be doing it for a living. Which I concluded the last video with this is it's kind of fun self-help regurgitation, but it's true. Sometimes the reality can outshine the dream. Like I always dreamt of being an actual real mountain biker, and now that's my life, and I'm stoked, man.
Dude, that's amazing. I love it. I love the journey. I love the little nuances there, especially the bike club. That's incredible.
Bulletproof Tigers, baby, represent.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't put that in.
Well, listen,
Got a lot
man,
of coffee.
I hope your audience gets to hear some things from you that they've never heard before. I did. I mean,
Cool.
we've hung out a time or two, and
Yeah.
this is all new to me. This is awesome. So,
This
I
was
mean, I
fun, man. I
good.
had a great time, and I hope that they do get to learn something. And it's just been a wild ride, and I'm just super grateful for all the opportunities in my life. Being able to pair my two loves together, like being a storyteller, being a filmmaker, and it just made sense to me. I was like, I can take this and do mountain biking, and I
Right.
can make it this one thing. And man, I'm super stoked on how far it's taken me, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Same. I'm looking forward to that mechanics video.
Just beeps, beep.
Yeah.
Simple word, beep.
All right, man. Well, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I really appreciate it. If you are watching this and you just stumbled onto this and you're learning about Bobo for the first time, this is a great place to learn about him. But you should definitely check out Biking with Bobo, the YouTube channel. There's a lot of fun mountain biking stuff on YouTube, but his is vastly unique, maybe superior. I don't know.
Definitely the funnest.
It's definitely the funnest. I will give you that. But you should definitely go take a look. He does have some of his own products on our website, and we're just glad you stopped by for some exclusive Hand Up Bobo content. All
Hey,
right, man.
Troy, thanks for having me, man.
Of course. Thank you.